You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel.
We present Selling One's Soul by John Fryer with Ben Morris and Annabelle Spinks-Jones.
Here's your coffee.
Ah, the true drug that maintains the empire.
What are you doing?
Using no more than the same public resources that are available to all.
Excuse me?
The internet.
What are you looking up?
Take out your phone.
Okay.
Look up the Anti-Brenton-on-Trent Social Cleansing Group. Your search engine should find it easily.
Got it.
Now, scroll down to Join Us and click on that.
What?
Click on it.
Right.
Why, young lady, are you looking at me like that?
Well?
Now, do you wish to receive information on that group's activities?
Do I?
Well, I do. Information from the enemy that they send to me about press statements, protests, local meetings, and I don't have to do anything other than sign up and check my emails.
I'll sign up now. Done it. It says here on the homepage that it has more than 500 people pledged to stop this idea already.
500?
500.
Is that all? Well, we can certainly do better than that. By the end of the day, we'll have over 5,000.
5,000? That's almost half the people you want tapped out.
You think it should be more? Well, we can try for 6, but I can't guarantee it.
According to this search, there are several other groups that are currently forming to oppose you.
Exactly.
I don't understand. We've just joined one of them.
The main one, hopefully, by the end of the day.
I still don't...
Lesson number 2, young Sarah. How do you best control the opposition?
Give up?
Decide who the opposition is, build them up, and then run it.
Run it? Did you... When?
We purchased the domain name last week. One of the guys in the office is currently running it. Did a photo shoot with some actors last week. You know the sort of thing. Young father, mother, children. We can't afford to live here claiming off the state sort of thing. The right-wing press lap it up. And those that do decide to join will more than likely join the group with the most members.
That's why you want the website to become the biggest protest group and let the others fall by the wayside.
You catch on quickly, young Angela. You catch on quickly.
Like you said, control the ground.
What else are they saying there on the homepage?
There is a demand here for a public meeting.
Good. Anything else?
A consultation process to include an independent report on the validity of the idea.
Excellent.
Oh, and last but not least, a focus group to examine the effect on those that currently live in the area. Won't the local council have something to say about all of this?
The people's representatives. Indeed they will, and their view is very important. Councillor Edwards, the leader himself, came down to London only last week.
He came last week?
Yes. We put him up at a very nice hotel, took him for a very good meal, and then got him some very nice theatre tickets. Apparently Brenton-on-Trent doesn't have a multiplex cinema complex. Well, it doesn't have one at the moment, but one is very much on the cards now. What?
Have you done this before?
This project was only brought to my company last month. We've been working on a strategy since then.
But your way of working, seeing the minister, the radio, the website...
And we have other tactics in the pipeline as well.
Is this how you approach all of your clients' causes?
We have to adapt depending on the issue, but a number of different approaches to achieve the same result.
Whatever the client wants?
Whatever the client is prepared to pay for, but does not wish to sully their own hands with. That is where we come in. We make the arguments others would prefer were voiced, but not from their own mouths. You think I have sold my soul to the devil?
Have you?
Oh, the devil got my soul many years ago. He got your father's, and to be honest, he got all the other fathers and mothers that you see walking the streets today. Your father would prefer it if you thought well of him and not know directly what he is required to do. That is why he arranged for you to spend the day with me. This is the day in which you are to grow up.
Grow up? By helping you throw 10,000 people onto the streets?
To the north. But there are those that will see it in exactly that way.
What did you want to be when you were my age? You can't have spent your early years planning how to shape public opinion. Even you must have had a dream. Something you wanted to be. Something you cared about that didn't involve sucking up to the wealthy.
I will forgive you, young lady. You have, after all, grown up under the roof that your father paid for.
And how many people has he had thrown onto the streets?
That question is unworthy of you.
How much damage were the two of you prepared to do just to pay the mortgage?
Now listen to me. When the burden and costs of the world rest upon your shoulders, then you can sit in judgment on your father. But until that day, I would ask you not to take the moral high ground. After all, we do not make the final decision. We simply present a case that others...
That is simply hiding behind those that are in front of the cameras.
And that is how the world truly works! I'm sorry. I should not have lost my temper. In one's youth, we all see the world in terms of black and white.
Things are either right or wrong, Lawrence. Right or wrong. You cannot control the world, no matter how much you think you can.
But you can shape it.
Latest update from your website.
Oh, what do they say?
Just scrolling down. The public meeting has been called for tonight in the local church hall. They are inviting a representative on behalf of the government to go to Brenton-on-Trent to debate against a residents' committee. Maybe you can't control or shape anything. People often tell themselves that they're just doing things for the money, but mostly they do it because they want to, because it makes them feel like a someone. We all have to live with ourselves in the end, in the quiet hours of the night. Your coffee's getting cold.
Then let us get this show on the road. We have a drive outside of London, young lady. And don't forget to pick up a copy of the evening paper, something I want the residents to see for themselves.
Thank you everyone for tearing yourself away from the capital this morning. As you can see, these are the first of a new housing development that represents only the tip of this government's housing policy. Now, it's our intention to build many thousands...
Isn't it true, Minister, that the government is now considering the forced movement of people from poorer areas of the country to less well-off areas?
That is not the government's intention.
But such a report is in fact on your desk for just such consideration, even as we speak.
Such a report...
So you can confirm that just such a report does in fact exist and recommends the forced removal of poorer communities?
That is not government policy.
And yet, Minister, the report in question also points out the large-scale savings from just such a decision. The savings to the education budget is one of the points most clearly made. Why is the government so content to waste public money when alternatives are so obviously available?
The government does not intend to waste taxpayers' money.
So all options are still on the table then, Minister?
Of course all options are still on the table.
So all options are still on the table then, Minister?
Of course all options are still on the table.
So it appears that the rumours were correct. The government is playing with the idea of relocating less financially prosperous members of society to other areas of the country. Although Housing Minister Rupert Bolingbroke sounded less than enthusiastic this morning, by midday his boss, the Prime Minister, had this to say at question time.
Mr. Speaker, much has been said with relation to this new approach at dealing with the difficulties that so many face today, right across our country with regards to home ownership and employment. Today's report by the Rosenholm Institute does indeed present many new ideas, and all governments should always be prepared to consider any and all new ideas, wherever they should come from, especially when the economic arguments are so clear and advantageous for the people concerned. But let me be clear. No one will be asked to leave their home without a full and complete consultation process within the local community itself. I believe that just such an exercise is currently underway.
Another piece of the jigsaw falls into place, does it, Lawrence?
10 years ago, when your father and I set up the company, he didn't want to. We were both out of our respective professions, if you could call politics a profession. Your father, when he was in manufacturing, thought early retirement was a good idea. Then your mother was diagnosed with cancer, and to pay the private medical bills, he needed extra money. I still knew people from my PR days for the party, so Finborough Holdings was born. No one else would employ us. Well, me. You see, in today's world you have to think different from whatever went before. You cannot hold on to the past. If you do, you'll be left behind.
I see.
I saw you about 18 months ago at university, the debating society. You were arguing for the legalization of drugs. Health, crime, social impact. I thought you were quite good. Very good, in fact. Presumably you did it to hone your performance skills.
Don't we all like being the centre of attention?
Especially when we have something to say. And we want to say it.
Ladies and gentlemen, as so many of you are now aware, the Prime Minister has commissioned a report into the viability of moving certain limited communities to parts of the country that offer greater opportunities for those involved and savings for the public purse. I am in complete agreement with this initiative by the PM and believe this could represent a future for those struggling with high house prices and modest earnings.
We sit here.
Facing a hostile crowd.
Don't you enjoy being on stage? Not every audience will be on your side. You'll have to win them around.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming out this evening. My name is Simon Williamson, and I run a website called the Anti-Brenton-on-Trent Social Cleansing Group, dedicated to stopping this development. Now, you all heard the Prime Minister's words earlier today. No one will be forcefully removed from Brenton-on-Trent, and this evening will represent the beginning of the consultation process to determine the feelings of the local community. At the end, if the majority decision is to leave, then that will be the conclusion. But no one should be under any illusion. There are no guns at anyone's heads. Friends, if we this evening give these people our homes, our lives, some might say, what of the next poor community? Who will stand up for them? Will every deprived area in the country now be seen as somewhere to be pushed around? I know the properties you occupy are mostly council or privately rented, but they represent generations of those who have built up Brenton-on-Trent, struggled, strived, sought to make lives of their own. Do not give up this fight to maintain what you have, for the lives you have created, and for those that shall grow up to call Brenton-on-Trent their home.
How is your mother, by the way? I should have asked.
Not so well.
Pity. If we win tonight, we get a bonus. Oh well, here's my pitch. Look after my notes for me.